Accommodation for travellers has been in crisis for a long time and predates the current homeless crisis. Travellers want to live with the extended family in traveller-specific accommodation, such as sites and group housing schemes. Local authorities are not building traveller accommodation despite the fact that money is allocated from central government but is not drawn down by local authorities. Nor are local authorities offering houses to travellers. In the private rented market, travellers have to hide their identity to get a house and live in fear of eviction if their identity is discovered. So a lot of young travellers are doubling up, staying with their parents in trailers out the back of their houses. Sleeping on sofas, and large families are sharing facilities, which leads to stress within the family. Many families are at breaking point.
Travellers' experience of education have been very poor. In the past, traveller children in the education system have been segregated from settled and treated differently. For travellers, the school system is not inclusive of diversity. There is a culture of low expectation of travelling children in school. Many travellers in post-primary schools do not need to do their homework, are allowed shorter timetables, and if they leave school before the legal requirement, nobody bothers to find out why. Travellers do value education, but because of their experiences, they don't have any faith in the system.
Travellers are an ethnic minority, making up less than 1% of the population. Traditionally, we live and work in the same space. We live with the extended family, which provides a great support structure. We have our own distinct history that dates back hundreds of years. Our identity is very important to us. The fact that we have been able to resist decades of state policies to force us to become settled people proves this. Because we are different and refuse to conform, we experience very high levels of discrimination, both at an individual and an institutional level. No more than any other community, all travellers are not the same. There are many different traveller groupings throughout the country, and some travellers are more traditional than others. Travellers in general tend to hold on to what makes them travellers for fear of losing their sense of themselves and still not being accepted by settled people.
Travellers are very resourceful and can turn their hand to different trades. This has allowed them to come through difficult times. In recent years, travellers' culture and the traditional ways of travellers' economy have been damaged, leaving travellers limited opportunities to make a living. Travellers working in mainstream employment are forced to hide their identity and tend not to last long, finding it hard to cope with the pressures of having to pretend you're someone you're not. Because the education system does not work well for travellers and the added issues of discrimination, travellers find it impossible to access good employment.
The All-Ireland Traveller Health Study showed that traveller women had a higher uptake of cervical cancer screening and breast check than the settled population. This was down to the role of traveller primary healthcare workers within traveller projects, where travellers felt safe and understood. This shows that travellers will access services and take up services when they feel safe and when it is done in a respectful and non-judgmental way. But travellers have a lack of confidence in the health services, even going to the GP. Fear of being judged and looked down on. Fear of not being understood. Travellers get put on medication not knowing what it is for, how long they should be on it and the side effects, and most travellers wouldn't have the confidence to question the GP about medication. Travellers living on sites might not get hospital appointment letters. Even those that do get the letters can forget the dates, given all the rest of the issues going on, such as accommodation problems, education, and family responsibilities. It's not that the traveller missed their appointments on purpose. It's not prioritised, given all the other stresses going on in our lives.
We as travellers are the key agents of change in relation to exploring aspects of our culture that are amenable to change and which could lead to more positive health determinants for traveller women. Travellers want to work in partnership with other sectors to address wider health determinants, and we want to lead the developments of new initiatives. So what can we do to improve the health of traveller women? Let's have the improvement of traveller health as a goal for all our policies, not just our health service policies, but also our housing policies, our employment policies, our education policies, etc. Let's create new opportunities for better health by investing in health where it starts, in our families, homes, schools and jobs. Let's treat people well and equally. Let's make respect for each other central to how we work. Let's take a stance against discrimination of the traveller community. It takes courage to recognise and challenge discriminatory practice. For more information, visit www.ihrec.ie.
We should make our minds up that when people are excluded and unjust and in a divisive way on the basis of characteristics, that is racism. So let us put an end to it.